It is looking like a nice, busy, beautiful day out, getting past those winter cold temperatures, and we got the FJ in the shop today. You know, I was gonna do this front bumper with Jake, but what can I say? I mean, I got ahead of myself. I'm gonna build the front bumper myself before I go down to Jake's, especially since when I bought this house, I bought it from a guy who was really into wine making. And he left me this nice pretty sheet of 1/4-inch aluminum. So that's what I'm gonna use for the skid plate on the front bumper. I might as well use it now. All right, we got the FJ in the shop today. You know, this is gonna be the front bumper build, the front tube / pre-runner bumper build. I'm gonna get it about 90% done. Do some finishing touches at Jake's house with the CNC plasma cutter, because you gotta have that thing to make it look pretty. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out this front bumper partial build on the FJ. That way when I take it to Jake's house, the only thing that's left is finishing touches. That's gonna be the front skid plate, and it's gonna be a little pre-runner design. Nothing too fancy, and I'll go over the design a little more once I get this whole stock front bumper assembly off. All right, we got the bumper disassembled, and as you can see, there's some great mounting flanges already on the stock FJ. That's super cool. Stock bumper, you can see right there was that piece of material right there. Just bolted kind of flat faced right into the into that old mounting point. This is the removable mount that bumper had. It was 2 pieces, or 3 pieces, I guess. 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, it kind of looked like a Humvee bumper. Just comes out the frame, nice flat little piece, super easy. But what that means is we get some perfectly good mounting flanges. These aren't super thick, but I can beef that up a little bit. Plus it's got 4 mounting holes, so it'll be flat face, so it'll be pretty sturdy. This is probably, you know, maybe a little over 1/8. I could probably go measure it, but in either case, not super thick, but mounts on right there. So all we're gonna have to do is Zeus this piece off right here, and then we have some perfectly good mounting flanges from factory, so that's great. Now coming off the bumper, since it's not really easy to show, just like with my fingers and pointing around, here are some pictures I found online of some similar designs that I'm gonna kind of mimic and steal ideas from. Now back to my FJ, this should be super doable and hopefully very easy with little to no hiccups. That's the goal. I do have my Harbor Freight pipe Kinker back there. Not the best tool on the planet. You know, Jake's Rogue Fab is probably 1,000 times better. And yeah, we'll use the Rogue Fab for the rock sliders in the rear bumper and maybe another swing out or something. We'll use the Rogue Fab there and we'll make nice pretty bends. But for now, I think I'm gonna keep with that simple design and try and limit the bends in the front as much as possible and do this ahead of time. First step's gonna be Zeusing those flanges flat, making those perfectly flat, giving us a nice starting point, a nice mounting flange for building out. So process is really simple. Once I get those flanges flat, I'm gonna mount them back there and then rough tack everything in place so I'm happy with it, pull it off and finish weld it. All right, so I got some rough pieces cut out. This is just some scrap tube, some small pieces. First thing I'm gonna wanna do is go ahead and make my 2 vertical mounts that come off the frame. Like I said, those are the plates that we cut off and ground smooth, so it's gonna come off this direction. This is kind of just a rough angle for now. Gonna get those tacked in, and then I'm gonna build the first big horizontal piece, and then interior horizontal piece, and then some gussets for strength on the side, and then the last thing's the skid plate, and then we're done. So I'm gonna start cutting out some pieces, tacking some pieces together, doing some nice simple bends with the Harbor Freight tube Kinker, and we'll just keep going until we get it right. And not really much to it. It's really just trial and error and tacking it in. All right, got those mounts tacked in. I'm starting to work on the top bar. Really simple. I went ahead and put a 50-degree bend in this side, slapped it on top of these mounts, even those mounts off flushly, you know, just trial and error by looking at it and using the level. And I've determined that 50 degrees is what I want for this angle right here going into the fenders. So Gonna go ahead and remake that 50-degree turn on the other side. You probably can't see my Sharpie, but that's where the pin's gonna be. That's where the tube mount is. And yeah, pretty simple, nothing really complicated. I am happy with this fitment so far. Everything is tacked in place, and this is the top pillar. I'm probably gonna add another pillar on this back side, kind of like right there, and run the length of it. That's gonna be for mounting a receiver to mount a winch. I just want that to be nice and sturdy, so I want it to be welded into 2 pieces of pipe, not just one. Hugs it pretty close. I'm happy enough with that. Regardless, next part is this gusset right here. I've already got one side done. Really simple, just tack that into the main structure, come up to this side and do the same thing. So I've been farting around with this piece, trying to get it to line up where I want it, and all I'm really doing is just plasma cutting and then taking some off and then trying to, you know, plasma cut the gaps out of it, like right there. I need to take some out of the back side to get that nice and flush, so that's what I'm gonna do, just trial and error with the plasma cutter. But I'm gonna knock this gusset out and then probably knock out that second top one right here, and then we can worry about the skid plate. And then this one's coming to a end pretty quick, I think. All right, well, before I cut to doing the skid plate, I thought I would show you how easy this upper one was. I went ahead and just cut this at 45 degrees using a little chop saw, and now all I gotta do is take a little notch, a little bite out of the bottom of it right there, and it'll fit in perfectly and notch that perfectly. So that's how I did that top piece. It'll be real quick. Probably one of the easiest pieces on the whole bumper. So that's a plus. Gonna notch that out, tack that in, and then we can talk skid plate. Or maybe I'll final weld the whole skeleton, then we can talk skid plate. But in either case, I'm gonna get to it. All right, so we went ahead and broke out the cardboard. And so let me show you my skid plate design, and then let's talk about it and talk about what I'm gonna finish myself and what I'm gonna have to take to Jake's house to finish, since Jake's got better tools than me for some of this stuff. Let me go ahead and back up a little bit. That's how the skid plate's gonna look. Gonna leave those gussets exposed for now. Maybe we'll plasma CNC some emblems in there, and that side as well. But maybe not. I kind of like the exposed look. That's how the skid plate's gonna look. That's gonna be a really big piece of aluminum, but it is what it is. Should be a nice, fun little ending. And I guess I can show you some more of the design. That's how it's gonna look. It's gonna have a gnarly approach angle for you know, stock FJ. So stoked on it. That's it. That's what it's gonna look like. So time to take it off and get to welding. Lots and lots of welding. Let's do it. And all right, we're done welding. And a quick note, I took it outside to paint it. Quick note on that, I am not a painter. Never have I ever said I was a great painter. I actually hate painting, so I kind of just caveman it and spray the shit out of it with black spray paint. But it's drying. I'm gonna let it dry probably 10-15 more minutes. Go put it back on the vehicle, and then once it's back on, put that skid plate on, and probably call this one done for now. All right, so final step, everything's mounted in place. I did have to, those flanges got cut a little wide, just because they warped a little bit. It's not thick enough metal to withstand all the heat, but that's fine, not too worried about it. Everything's in place, it's painted. The last step is the skid plate. I'm gonna use my 1/4" aluminum sheet. I got this for free, so I might as well use it. No point in using, I was gonna use those like cabinet faces, but I just don't think it would look right. I got a free piece of 1/4" aluminum, so might as well do it right and use the 1/4" aluminum. But day, a little frozen outside, but I went ahead and took the FJ out, get a good look in the sunlight at the bumper. It's not done yet, so there's a few things left to do on it. I'm not entirely happy with it yet, but I will be when I take it to Jake's and we finish it up. This is how it looks. As you can see, lots and lots of clearance. I also trimmed the fenders. I guess I can show you right there. Fenders got trimmed right there, had a lot of clearance. the mounts work. That's the sheet of aluminum. That aluminum is beefy. That's a lot of beef right there. What's not finished is this skid plate is gonna get bent up right there at that angle to match the angle of the new aluminum skid plate. That way it kind of all goes to one piece. All right, as it turns out, we are not done yet because I wasn't satisfied with that. I don't think it looked good enough. With that being said, we already made some cuts to the aluminum skid plate. We narrowed it down a little bit, and we're going just to weld that to the TRD skid plate. As you can see, I brought out the not used very much spool gun, and yeah. Instead of it being so bulky, we cut down the sides and angled it directly up, directly to where that TRD skid plate lines up, and I've already tacked it in with the spool gun. Next thing I'm gonna do is fully weld this seam as well as much of the back seam as possible. And yeah, we're gonna call that good. That is a much better profile characteristic on that upper skid plate, and I'm much happier with this design. And those two pieces being welded together won't be a big deal since it's just 4 bolts on the bottom, and then I have 5 bolts on top to take it off. I have aluminum dust everywhere, every crevice. Not fun, not fun. That's supposed to be concrete. That's just a pile of aluminum. Maybe I just suck spooling aluminum, but that sucked. No better way around it. That sucked a lot. I like to think I'm a good MIG welder. Good enough MIG welder in my own standards, but oh, that was another animal. Yeah. End of the day, here's what we're at. Here's how that skid plate looks. I went ahead and grinded the layer of mill scale off the whole front of it, give it a nice little brush look. Don't have to worry about rust with aluminum, which is a plus. It just sucks to work with, at least for me. I'm not delicate enough, I think, but that's how it looks. Let me show you the side. That's how it looks from the side. I should probably add some side gussets going from that lower skid plate up, you know, in that general area. But not gonna do that now. Maybe I'll do that at Jake's. Definitely not gonna do it now. That's how it looks though. That's how she turned out. When I go to Jake's, we're gonna add some upper hoops and the receiver hitch and everything else. That way, everything is nice and squared away in the front. But yeah, little side profile action. I know this wings up just a little bit. I did it on purpose. In either case, that's it for this one, guys. I will catch you guys next time, and hopefully next time you see the FJ, I'll line these video up, so the next video you see is gonna be finishing the front and then doing either the rock sliders or the rear bumper. So pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool.